let's talk about the situation in Venezuela. It's about so much more than the internal struggles under Nicolas Maduro. It's about why global superpowers are so deeply invested in its future. When the US ramped up sanctions and diplomatic pressure, the public reason was all about democracy and regional stability. But there's a much deeper story here. What if Venezuela, with the world's largest proven oil reserves, is actually a key battleground in a new global Cold War? For 200 years, the United States held major influence over Latin America under the Monroe Doctrine. Washington was the main player, stepping in whenever its economic interests, especially energy, were on the line. That was the geopolitical standard. But today, that standard is being challenged by a new global power, China. Beijing has quietly become the top trading partner for major South American economies like Brazil, Chile, and Peru. Through its Belt and Road Initiative, it has funding huge infrastructure projects and investing in strategic assets like the Panama Canal and the Lithium Triangle, resources vital for the electric vehicle revolution. China has been chipping away at US dominance, not with military might, but with economic partnership. This brings us back to Venezuela. When the government nationalized its oil industry and distanced itself from the US, it became a major point of tension. While the US framed its pressure as a matter of regional security and fighting drug trafficking, some analysts point out a double standard. They note that a lot of illicit trade actually comes from countries that are US partners. This has led many to believe the security narrative is also a strategy to regain control over Venezuela's massive oil wealth and push back against China as growing influence. Top officials in Washington have been pretty open about this America First strategy, seeing China's rise as a direct threat. The pressure isn't just on Caracas, it's felt across the entire region. Countries like Panama have had to make tough choices, sometimes turning away from Chinese projects to favor US-backed investments. We've also seen financial support go to regional leaders who align with Washington instead of joining groups like BRICS. The Venezuelan crisis hit a critical point when Maduro, under the strain of economic isolation, reportedly offered a deal. He was willing to open up oil and gold sectors to American companies and shift exports away from China. It was a huge diplomatic opportunity, but the US administration held its firm position. They weren't looking for a compromise. They wanted a complete change in leadership. The goal was to install a government that would fully privatize the energy sector, ensuring that Western corporations, not Chinese state-run firms, would control the future of its resources. The potential fallout from this is massive. Continued pressure could lead to a total collapse in Venezuela, triggering a humanitarian and migration crisis the region is not prepared for. Meanwhile, China is playing the long game by avoiding direct conflict and watching US moves. Beijing is betting that Washington's heavy-handed approach will eventually drive more Latin American nations into its economic orbit. In the end, this isn't just about oil, it's about which global superpower will write the economic and political rules for the 21st century. Thanks for watching, and if you found this insightful, make sure to follow for more.